Okay, welcome back. Picking up where we left off last time in Factorio. There's been a little bit of a time skip as I basically let the gameplay over the break just to let the bots catch up a little bit. So let's check in on our counts. Okay, so that is 6. So 6, 12, 24, green's off by 1. So we can fix that by clicking like that. And of course we lost power. Oh, because once it got set up it had power for a short period of time. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's screw the count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I must have screwed the count up somehow. Let me put a counting unit in, so I can make sure I'm getting the alignment right. It's not super important that I'm getting the alignment right, but oh, I should put 2 in then. Alright, that way I can know I've gone to the right distance. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. So 5 times 6 is 30, so that's the amount of red that I need. I do need a little bit more green, because green needs to be 36. Okay. A little bit of cross power there. So that should be, once all that's built, all the red and green we need to fill at full speed the middle belt for those 2 lines. Whoops. I'm realizing I screwed a bit up. It is the correct amount of green to go with that red, but I was going to feed in the gears and the green circuits, which we need for the inserters, straight into the thing, which is not right. I need to do some more processing first. Okay. Then we're going to copy you, because we're going to need the gears for... inserters. Actually, I can do a little bit better copy. Grab all of that. Like so. Ah, we don't quite have the alignment to make it work there. Easy enough to make it work, roughly how it is. Doesn't need to do some modifications. There we go. Okay, and then that is also going to be 3. Let's kind of put it over 1. And there we go. So now that should do what I said it was going to. Now that I've put the proper intermittent bit in the middle. So we can see that the network has expanded. A bunch of jobs we need to get rid of. Tree filter. Tree and rock filter. Go ahead and clear my trees and rocks. Okay. So, we got red, we got green. After red and green, we're going to have to move on to more complicated things, like military and blue and purple. Do you want to do blue first or military first? To be fair, we're probably going to get the iron, get the stone locally. Don't need the stone chemical science pack, so I might do the chemical science pack first. Either way, this probably wants to get cleared up as well. Oh wait, I don't need to completely destroy this, but we're gonna significantly open it up by getting rid of a bunch of the turrets. So we get a little bit more space south here. I suppose I might put the power pole line back in. So, I suppose another thing I can do here is we can probably designate this for an upgrade. Just update all the inserters on this. And arguably, that's probably not even enough iron for what I have, so at some point the train station is going to need to get upgraded. Because what, this is already eating 1 belt, 2 belt, 3 belt, 4.5 belt of iron. And even if I say that upgrade can do that, it's still 4 belt of iron, so just giving you the idea of how hungry this is going to be when it starts getting going. Okay, I'm gonna start running it a little bit by having the requester bots deliver from the network, or the logistics bots do deliveries from the network, just to test that it's working. Okay, so you are going to request iron plate if it's in the network. I think it is in the network. It's not. Well, of course, we're pulling every once in a while. We pull stuff up that's got stuff in it, right? So. Wait, if that's working the way I think it is, those have all been assigned iron. They have. Cool. Assigned copper, and then you'll need copper. Okay. So they're going to get assembled by construction robots first, and then the logistics robot will start to try to supply them. And I still have 700 more orders than we have construction bots, so shouldn't necessarily be in the rush to looking for more tasks, but it's now time to move on to the next thing. Chemical science will probably want to be the next one. I want to make 1 full belt of this. Well, one half belt of this, right? So technically that's actually only a quarter belt of sulfur. Yeah, it's only a quarter belt of sulfur. Right, because I want half the belt to be full of the chemical science. This makes 2 for every input of sulfur. The plastic for that advanced circuits is probably going to be the strenuous thing here. So it's going to be half the belt. Well, actually, how many plastic goes into a red? 2. And it's 3 into the blue per recipe, but the recipe makes 2, so it's 1.5 belts. Wait, so half a belt. needs a quarter belt of the input multiplied by that number. So 3/4 of a belt of red, which is a lot of red. And that 3/4 of a belt of red is going to want 3/4 of a belt times 2 of plastic. Which, coincidentally, the plastic happens to make, but that then means we need 3/4 of a belt of coal. So it's 3/4 of a belt of coal, which isn't that bad. Though the plastic requirements is bonkers. And we need engines. And this is a fourth the speed, but it produces 2 output of the green. So the green I got 36 of, so I'm actually going to need 72 of these. So this is going to be a bit weird, because I'm going to build... might just build this backwards. So we want something about that size. Okay, and then you want to get swapped over to that color. And I'm going to have to make this more complicated, right? Because this is going to need 3 inputs. Am I out of alignment? Oh, I might have gone out of alignment. That would make sense. Oops, that's the red. We want it to be in yellow. Okay, so you can see that's basically something almost as big as the green and the red just to make the blue. Blue production. Now we need to sort out inputs. It's also going to be large. Anyway, sulfur is pretty easy, at least. So the plastic's going to be probably the hardest thing. Well, I say plastic. Plastic's probably actually the easy bit of the red science, but... Okay, so... Bit sorry for that. If you end up watching this when it gets posted to YouTube, it'll be in 1080p. If the stream is being choppy, that's probably actually my internet. That's probably not your internet affecting the stream choppiness. For people watching YouTube, I do stream this live as I'm recording it. So every once in a while I do respond to comments in chat. Red engines. Oh, I'm just realizing this isn't going to work for the blue. Well, actually, it'll work if I don't do it all in yellow. That's the thing, right? I'm thinking doing one yellow belt out. So that means it's a half belt each side. Well, half the belt is coming from each side, which means half of that half a belt is the input ratio. Okay, so I'm gonna have problems with the red if I try to run in this setup. So I actually need the red on the outside, and the sulfur and the engine can share half a belt on the inside for that balance. Sulfur and engines, okay. So I suppose if that's going to be how that's going to work, that means I can run... Well, no, I can't. How to run this? Well, I could put a buffer here, but it could do split it there. It's still going to be half each side, okay. So the thought process here is to balance the outsides, and then we're balancing the insides. So I might deal with the easier bit first, which is going to be the sulfur. So if I want one whole belt of blue coming out, means I'm going to need a half a belt of sulfur going in. And hello, Cheddar. Responding to someone saying hello in the Twitch chat. So, half a belt, so I need a quarter belt in. So, half a belt is 7.5. Divided by 2 is 3.25 times a second for this recipe. So obviously it's going to be 4 of them. I need 4 chemical plants to make what I want for that. How much do I produce of science per minute? For the base as it is, the old science, I think it's doing 0.7 science per second. Which in practice is getting up to about 34, 35 a second. Or 35, 34, 35 per minute is what the base is currently doing. But I'm missing a science from the novice. And this is space age, and I've got none of the space age going at the moment, except for space. And I think space is even slower than the 0.75 per second. And I suppose continuing up on that thought process, now that my mind has rejigged after thinking about it, the whole point of what I'm trying to build here is I'm trying to build up to what would be 7.5 per second, which would be like 10 times faster, and everything, hopefully. So this is going to be monumental improvement and going to require a lot of inputs. Honestly, I'm going to get the thing running, and then I'm probably going to have the base just choke on the resource shortage, to be fair. So I'm not expecting this to work the first time I get it fire it up. Okay, so not now I'm going to get the petroleum gas and the water in there yet, but that is that. That is the sulfur production. Somewhere in here, we're going to have to put in... Well, actually, engines, right? So the engines... Engines are going to have other problems, I think. So we want... Well, if I want one built out, I need one built in of engines, basically. Okay, so if it's one built in of engines, then I don't. I just need to remember to put the engines in on the right side. So right now the sulfur is going on the right side, the engines need to go on the left side of the belt going in. And it needs to be a full belt of engines. So 7.5 engines. 10 seconds each. Divided by 1.25, because we're going to use the better assemblers. So what this is saying, I need 60 assemblers. My math is right there. To meet the engine requirements, okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and this as a blueprint for what it might look like, size-wise, so I get positioning reasonable. Wait, no, that's too big. Aha, that's a easy solution to fix. Okay. And for those trying to understand why I realized that, remember that was too big. I need 60. That was actually the right size. That was 30%. Just go recopy that again. So the red science here is 30 long. So if I need that number of assembly machines, I can grab it. A little bit to go roughly the right direction, and this is going to require 2 belts in for 1 belt out. And then this would be the engines. Okay. Of course I did it in the inventory and not in there, which is where I want to do it. Okay, that's... pipes and stuff is not too bad. Do I want to run the liquids through before I make the thing too complicated? Probably. Do you already have... Well, I got the water, I don't have the petroleum running this way, right? Let's see if I can pull the water out easily. Actually, let's... Pretty reasonable hits for a pump, so let's put a pump down here. I might have to personally go install the pump, but... Okay, which side do we have the water on? Water is that one, that one, that one. Okay, temporarily I'm going to take these two out, because I'm going to go extend the rail line to make sure we'll clear the rail line when the rail line gets put through. There we go. I need to do petroleum gas as well. Shouldn't be all that hard, because that's the petroleum gas. So we'll go ahead and we'll do similar to what we did before. We'll do a pump on it right where it starts. That way it doesn't break any of the existing logistic network. Getting it going. Oops. See a line of stuff I did not fix from a destroy before, so let's before I forget it, let's get this destroyed properly. Oh yeah, and I can do the tracks here. Would probably be a good way to get an idea of our. Yeah, so that should be fine there. Come along with this one. Okay. That looks like it is good to go, as long as I go with pumping, because I think I'm carrying the only pumps I think in the network. Which in a way is actually good, because I don't want that to turn on until I've got the rest of the system set up. Other than to check to make sure the network is a network. Yep, seeing my lines going where I want them to, so that's looking good. While we got the bots working that, I should probably start contemplating how I'm going to get the inputs to the engines going. So it needs one. What? So 2 in, 2 out. So if I want 1 half belt out, we need 1 half belt in. Of engine units. 1 half belt of engine units thus is going to consume a half belt of steel. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so it's 1 furnace makes the input for the next furnace, so if I only need half a belt steel, what I'm going to do is something sort of similar to this. I'm going to copy a half. And I'm going to do another copy of the other half. Like so. So it comes in as ore, turns in the iron gets loaded in the next furnace, which turns into steel, which gets offloaded onto the belt. At some point I need the red one to come through, so I'm just going to do the underground belt immediately. I don't know where to put that yet. Oh, and I need to put the long handle inserters over here, otherwise these aren't going to work. So I'm thinking it and the steel and the gear wheels want to share half and half. So I should probably do the gear wheels next. So the gear wheels are going to be a full side. So I can just pull from the blueprint. Or a full belt. Well, both the pipe and the gears are going to be a full belt each, right? I suppose I can borrow that. Copy this. Actually, no, we'll leave you as the gear. We'll turn you to pipe. And there's a reason, it's because I need double the pipe. Double the factories on pipe, because the pipe consumes half the input, but I need twice the output. Vertical flip, vertical flip. Horizontal flip. With a vertical flip, because I flipped it. Flip it. Yeah, and the gears want to go up first. Where we want to do a split here as well. Do the split at this point, I suppose? Yeah, let's do the split at this point. And then you want to be my pipe. Whoops. Okay, so that'll run all those engines. So we got engines. We're gonna need to power that at some point. So engine sulfur. All we're missing is the red science. The scary, scary, scary red science. Because I need a belt and a half of red science. What makes this? Well, no, I need 3/4 of belt of red science. Yeah, so when I have a belt of view, so that'd be 7.5 times 3. So we want 3 red circuits, so yeah, it's a belt and a half of red. Which is a whopping 108 assembly machines of red. I'll divide that into 3 to make it a little bit more contemplatable. That's 36. Okay, 36 is semi-doable. That's the length of the green. So what I might do is I might just copy... Well, it's also the length of the blue itself, right? So... Is it the length of the blue itself? Yeah, I think it's the length of the blue itself. And while it's a different recipe, it's the same sort of plain inset. Okay. Okay, so that's 72. So that's half of what I need. We'll set to this right recipe first. Or do the second copy off of it. Okay, so that'll be enough red, monstrous as that large amount is. So the next problem is going to be feeding the inputs to that red. Plastic, lots of plastic. Plastic, copper, and green circuits. One built of you is a belt and a half of red. A belt and a half of red is... half a belt becomes half. Half a belt. But then that gets multiplied by 3, right? So, let's see. What's... Thinking half belts here is what I'm trying to think in. Divided by 2 times 3 times... let's work with plastic. Times 2. So I need 22.5 plastic a second. Obviously can't go by a whole belt, because that's a belt and a half of plastic. Okay. Yeah, it's a belt and a half of plastic. Which for feeding into the red circuits is fine, because I've got 3 half belts of plastic to feed in. Okay, that's fine. So if we say the inside is copper, or is the copper wire, the outside is half plastic, half green. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. This makes 2 a second. So I want 4 for each of these lines. No one. Oh, won't go the full distance. Okay, so if we want this to be where we're putting our plastic on, each of these needs to be half a belt. So it's 4 each. 4 each is actually excessive. It's about 50% of machine too much, but you can't put a half a chemical plant down, so that's just how it's going to have to work. Oops, went too close on that side. That side. Was the right spacing vertically, but not the right spacing away from my belt. That might actually work better from a feeding standpoint anyway. Well, I did say might. In the reality, maybe not so much. Oh yeah, I think I can make it work. It's not going to be the prettiest thing in the world, but it should work. Okay, and this will basically just be one whole belt of... the words are now failing me. This will be one whole belt of coal. Frostpunk 2 is calling, and it wants its coal back. But yeah, this is coal. So... and all the spaces were left empty, like so. Need to be pipe. Oh, I suppose I could borrow from petroleum from down here. Use the same petroleum system. I may have to come in and put a pump in at some point because the system will get too big, but at the moment this should work. seems about as good as any place to bring the coal in. Yeah, we'll run it up the middle there. And like before with all these, I'm not going to feed the actual coal in until we're ready. And to feed it, I just need to put that one in, and it'll start coming down. Yeah, the numbers get real big. One of the reasons I'm trying to do full half belts, if that makes sense, is because then I'm just working in ratios. Instead of trying to be, okay, I want some arbitrary not half belt ratio, because a lot of them it's like, okay, if you want a half a belt of this, then you need 2 belts or 2 half belts of that, which is a full belt, and you can do multiples like that you can't do with arbitrary numbers. Though in a way that's kind of sort of arbitrary. That's the reality of it, right? Is even trying to avoid arbitrary numbers gives you arbitrary numbers. That would have been the ideal place for it. So that one's going to be a little bit out of symmetry, but hopefully no one has too much symmetry requirements. Because, well, the spaghetti I have elsewhere is probably symmetry destroying anyway. Okay, so that is plastic. Similar concept we need with green. Whereas that's a half belt, and we need 3 half belts, I think. Yeah. So half belt becomes 3/4 of belt, so we got 3/4 belts. Quarter belt times 2 is a half belt, so we need a half belt of green for each of these lines. Yeah, the full 1.5 green belts. Which is roughly this setup. Yeah, roughly that setup. I think technically, oh, that's what? Yeah, no, it's 6. It's an area where I think I only need like 5 of these 6 to technically make it work. The 6th one is there for symmetry. That's symmetry ring. It's like, it's like, dude, you need that many? No, that's actually too many. But it makes the symmetry look good, so I've thrown the extra one in because it makes the symmetry look good. I need 3 of those. Yeah. So that means for the electric furnace stacks, I need 1 for copper, 1 for iron, 1 for copper, 1 for copper, half for iron. Alright, we have a little bit of conflicting space here. Isn't too much of an issue. Not overriding an actually important power pole. Oh, wait, to make this work, I need to upgrade, I think, some of these. Yeah, because I don't have the outer wedge, right? The red ones don't make any sense. Is it making that work over... Oh, I suppose the answer might be... Oh, yeah, I just didn't copy the outside one. That makes sense. We can make it with red, it'll be fine. Just means we need to tell it to be upgraded to red. That's because I need... what? It's... half a yellow of iron to make half a belt of green, but it's it's 3 times that for... Oh, I actually might need to double upgrade. You know, if I'm questioning it, I should just do the double upgrade. It'll be fine. Because again, we have it in the network. Worst case scenario, I'm just wasting some iron lubricant. Oh yeah, and that's still only 2/3 of what this needs. We still need to keep going. Maybe we'll save a little bit of work and grab that. Yeah. Wait, that's not that bad. So there's our 3 half lines of green. trying to sort out how I want to do these undergrounds. I'm recognizing I went way over time again. I suppose if you're enjoying this, you're probably quite enjoying, but doesn't mean I'm not going to make as many videos tonight. Okay. I'm gonna finish up piping this in, then we'll take the part brick. Oh, I don't need the gap I was putting in for the red doesn't need to be gapped for the red, after all. Oh, actually, I don't need that row. That row's the... Because this yellow belt coming up is 2 halves, right? Whereas this one's just a half. I suppose in some ways it's less efficient than a full, but we only need a half. Okay, so with that, we've got, for the blue science, we've got everything except for the copper cables, which will be next. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you have been enjoying it. It's definitely been interesting to work on. I don't necessarily know if it's interesting for people to watch, so if you're enjoying it, feel free to let me know. I'm getting a little bit too much into the weeds, which is why letting the parts go a bit long. Well, into thinking about it, which is why I'm letting the parts go long. So before I ramble on a bit more, I'm going to go ahead and put in the part break for YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to try to make sure that I record one more part tonight, so there should be another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break between parts. Where mainly to kind of let the bots catch up, because you can see I'm 1.5 thousand jobs ahead of the bots, so give the bots some time to catch up, after all. I am working the bots a bit hard. And then we'll come back in, and I'll finish up getting the copper cable in, and then we'll probably move on to military science. Military science will be next. Kind of doing these out of order, did red, green. Skip the military to go to blue. We're going to go back to military. And then we're going to do purple. And then we're going to do yellow. We don't have any yellow, so the yellow needs at some point to be done just so we actually have some yellow science. At which point we'll do build upgrades. And maybe try out starting the Gleba start instead of finishing the Vulcanist one while the bullet upgrades are doing stuff. So, until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.